Welcome, students. This is Mrs. Walton here, ready to teach you about this week's language concept that we're learning. And it is going to be called irregular past tense verbs. So last week we learned about past, present, or future tense of a verb. So like I'm saying that I walk to school today, yesterday I walked to school, and tomorrow I will walk to school. So we talked about those tenses, and today we're just going to focus on the past tense and these weird verbs. Let's review real quick. A regular verb, kind of like walk, you just add an ed to the end or a d. Just depends on the verb, but you add either one of those to the end. So let's take a look at these verbs. So let's say I say play. Yesterday I played. I'm just adding an ed at the end. Or Thursday I walked to the store. I just add an ed. So you're seeing the ed added. Or I climbed the mountain on Tuesday. Climbed, you just add your ed on the end. And talked. I talked to my grandma yesterday. I cleaned my room. So you're just adding the ed. These are all regular verbs, or this one I just have to add a d. They're all regular, they're all normal. They all follow that rule of adding a d or an ed. Now we're going to jump into these irregular verbs. And irregular is just another word for weird. They're just weird. They just decided not to follow the rules. And these, you can't just add a D or an ED. You have to think about it. And usually you just say it so you know. So let's take a look at some of these. So the word write. Today I write a letter. Yesterday I wrote, so I have to change it to wrote. And you probably already knew that, but it's just something you think about and you're like, oh yeah, so that means it's different. I can't say I righted, but I wrote. Or the word run. Yesterday I ran. So run changes to ran. Or on Monday I rode my bike. So I rode it instead of ride. You don't say rided, you don't say runned. You change these to wrote, ran, or rode. And you already know this. Like, think about what you say, and it'll be the exact same. Think about eat. Yesterday I ate the cake, or something like that. Sleep changes to slept. And stand changes to, I'll write it down here, stood. I stood in line to get my new game. So, like I mentioned before, you just have to think about how you say it. Because you know, as a third or fourth grader, you know already that you don't say I eated something. You know you change it to ate. So you just have to think about how you say it. Good luck on your language assignment with irregular verbs.